Hello, today we will be working on right triangle trigonometry again. The third lesson right here. We're going to be working with this particular one right here. Finding sides of special right triangles 30, 60, 90 degrees. Okay, so please click on that and open that. Okay, the first thing I want you to do is make sure you understand this right here. Please read that, make sure you translate it. This is very important. But yesterday we learned about how to find the sides of a triangle which has only one side but a 45-degree angle, because it really means you have two sides, both sides that are 45 degrees each. So what do? We use a common ratio. I don't know if you remember, but we learned that we learned yesterday that if we have a leg, let's just say that goes with the 45, let's see, it's 5, that the other leg is also going to be 5, and the hypotenuse is going to be 5, one of these legs, times root 2, okay? So the hypotenuse is equal to the leg times root 2. But that was yesterday, right? That was yesterday, okay? You're going to have some review questions on that. But today we're going to learn about a different type of special right triangle. Today, we're going to learn how to do the same thing, but if we have a 30, 60, 90 degree triangle. So you're going to want to open up these documents right here. So please go ahead and open that. And remember, you can always translate this if you need to, right? You can go File, make a copy, and then come back here and do translate under here, translate, okay? All right, so here we are. This is what we're doing today. If we've got triangles like this and we find out that we've got one angle, and make sure you take notes on this so that you can, and you can open it in Kami. Remember, you can open it in Kami either here or, but just make sure you're able to take good notes. Okay, so here what you'll notice is that if we have a right triangle, remember that makes it a right triangle, and if we have a 30-degree angle, that means that that goes to the short leg. Now we have a short leg, and because the other one is 60, right? Because 90 plus 30 plus 60 equals 180 degrees. So this would be the long leg. So the short leg and the long leg. So if we have, how do we figure out what the hypotenuse is? Well, if we have the short leg, it's going to be basically just 2 times the short leg. Okay, so write that in your notes. And the long leg is going to be equal to the short leg. I know it ran out of room here, times root 3, the radical, they call it radical 3, okay? So that's how that works. So what does that mean over here? I'm going to move this a little bit. Okay, and how do you get the short leg? Well, if you have the hypotenuse, it's going to be hypotenuse divided by 2, and the long leg, again, would be the hypotenuse, so I'm going to abbreviate, divided by, well, let's just put a hold on that for now. But let me give you an example. Let's say we have 30 degrees, right? And let's just say this side is 6. If that is 6, that's the short leg, right? So to get the long leg, what do? It's the short leg times root 3. So the short leg is 6 times root 3 is basically 6 root 3, okay? That's all there is to it. So that's the 60. Now to get the hypotenuse, it's going to be the short leg times 2. So basically it's going to be 6 times not root 2, but 2. And that is equal to 12. That's all there is to it, guys. That would be equal to 12, okay? So make sure you take your notes, and let's go ahead. Don't worry about this right now. Okay, so if you want, you can try to see if you can figure out this. So check your understanding to see if you can figure out what this side is right here and what the hypotenuse is. Okay, so the first thing is that 30 is the short leg. So the short leg is going to be 4. How do we get the hypotenuse? Well, the short leg times 2, right? So we're going to do 4 times 2 is equal to 8. Okay, so the hypotenuse is 8. Very easy. And then for the 60, it's going to be the short leg times root 3. So we know the short leg is 4 times root 3 is just basically that. Okay, so that's kind of an easy level one. But now I'm going to give you a little bit more challenging one. Here we have 30 and 60, but we have this 60-degree side, right? So we know that we're trying to find this side over here and the hypotenuse. Well, we know the 60, the long leg, is going to be 15 root 3. But what do we know about getting the long leg? We know the long leg is equal to the short leg times root 3, right? So that means we're going to put the short leg, maybe S, times root 3 is equal to the long leg. Maybe write it like that. S for short leg, okay? So what is the long leg? Well, this one is equal to 15 root 3, because remember, that goes with the 60, so that's a long leg, so that's your L. And this over here would be your S for short. What is this? Well, it's going to be, let me erase it for now. So it's going to be short leg equals root 3. So equals 15 root 3. So I want to solve for the S, so I got to divide by root 3, right, to cancel it. Then I get my short leg, right? But I have to divide this by root 3. Remember, the same thing over the same thing, they cancel, right? And then we get 15. So the short leg is 15. So we've got the short leg. Now, to get the hypotenuse, we can take the short leg. It's going to be short leg times 2. So 15 times 2 is equal to 30. Okay? So that's how this assignment works today. So now I'm going to do the first few problems from the assignment just to make sure that you understand it. You can try it yourself. So please open the assignment. Okay, so go ahead and open the assignment. Make sure you download it so you can open it in Kami, okay? Okay, so here's the assignment. We're doing 30, 60, 90 triangles today. Questions 1 and 2 are a review. As you can see, there's 45, 45. So I'm going to let you do those, and I'm going to show you the new questions. So let's see. So the first new question I see is number 3, okay? So if you want to try it, go ahead, and then you can come back and check it if you want to pause the video. Okay, so 30 degrees is going to be the short leg. So that's your Y. So we know the short leg times 2 is equal to the hypotenuse, right? Well, we are given the hypotenuse. So that means that Y, or the short leg, times 2 is equal to 8 divided by 2. Divided by 2. That goes away. Y equals 4. So that's your short leg, right? So we're going to look for Y is equal to 4. But we also can get our... So that would be the long leg right here, right? So that we know that the short leg, 4 times root 3 is equal to that. So that would be our X. So let's see what we got over here. That looks like B. Yep. Okay, we got that. Okay, so that seems like it might have been the easy one. Well, let's look at this. Now, we don't see 30, do we? But we've got to remember, this is 90. So the other two together are going to equal 90 degrees, right? So if we got 160, the other one has to be the 30, okay? So we know that the short leg goes with the 30, so that means the short leg is going to be 2. And when we multiply that by 2, we get the hypotenuse. So that means 2 times 2 is equal to 4. So that would be our hypotenuse. So that would be 4, okay? And then we know that the short leg times root 3, and this is not short leg times root 3, is equal to the long leg. So that means 2 times root 3 is equal to the long leg. So that would be B, right? 2 root 3. So what do we have? 2 root 3 and 4 is A. So that means B is correct on this one too. Okay, I'll do 2 more. Again, please try it out. If you want to pause the video and try it, that's fine. Okay, so here we go. So again, we know we've got a 60. So A is your 60. B has got to be your 30 then, right? But we don't have the 60 or that. But what we have is a hypotenuse. So, okay, so we have is a hypotenuse, right? So that's the hypotenuse, opposite that. And what do we know about, oops, let me do this real quick. This is wrong. Don't put this in here. So start over, okay? Okay, so what we have is a hypotenuse, right? And we know that the short leg times 2 is equal to the hypotenuse, okay? By the way, this is the short leg right here. So B is the short leg, right? So that's going to be the short leg because that goes with the 30. So that means the short leg times 2 is equal to the hypotenuse. Well, we have the hypotenuse. 2 times root 3 is equal to the short leg times 2. So both have a 2, so divide by 2, that goes away, that goes away. So the short leg is equal to root 3. Remember, the short leg is going to be b, right? Okay. And then if we have the short leg times root 3 is equal to the long leg. So we know the short leg is root 3 times root 3 is equal to 3. So the long leg, which is this one, should be 3. So that means b is root 3. And the long leg, so this one should be, it seems like they're all b. Are they all the same or what? Wow. Okay. So there we go. Okay. So that's how that works. Okay. I'm going to do one more for you, and then I'm going to let you finish the last 10. Okay. So if you want to pause it, go ahead, and then we'll try this one. Okay. So we are given the hypotenuse again. The 60 is the long leg, which is x. So that means the short leg is 30 right here. So we know that the short leg times 2 is equal to the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is 4, so the short leg times 2 equals 4. This should be pretty easy. That goes away. Short leg is equal to 2. So that's going to be, the short leg is y, right? So it's either going to be this one or this one. But now we're going to take the short leg times root 3 to get the long leg. And the short leg is 2, root 3, so that's the long leg. So that would be your x, right? It'd be 2 root 3. So let's see, which one is it? That's going to be D. Okay, so there you go. So that's how you do 30, 60, 90. So I'm going to let you do the last several, and then make sure you come back and enter them into Canvas to get your A for the day and submit it. That's it, guys.